Welcome back to the Practice Pulse. We are thrilled today to announce the launch of our brand new series, The Seven Figure Broker. In this series, we will specifically focus on systems and strategies that help top-tier real estate brokers, insurance brokers, mortgage brokers, and other service entrepreneurs in the property and finance space scale their revenue and maximize client lifetime value. I'm your host, Nancy Margrit. Having spent years building operational systems and scaling businesses, I know that for independent agencies and brokerages, the difference between success and stagnation often come down to efficient processes and client retention. To kick off this series, I'm thrilled to welcome Heather McCormick, the owner and founder of McCormick Advantage Insurance Agency. Heather has built a successful independent agency focused on providing personalized service. We're going to dive into her journey, the key wins that propelled her agency's growth, and the operational systems she uses to manage client relationships and scale. Heather, welcome to the Seven Figure Broker.
Thank you.
Heather, why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and the core focus of McCormick Advantage Insurance Agency?
So I've been in the insurance industry for 27 years. So I've got to see it evolve from a rate manual. Literally, you have a car and three pieces of information and get a price to now, carriers use over 700 points for every car and even more for properties. So it's gotten very complex, but doesn't change that you still have to have a personal connection with people. You still have to make sure that they're relevant and that they know that they're important and that their needs are met. So our agency is very transparent and just tries to make sure we stay connected to our clients and integrate with them more.
That's awesome. You chose to build an independent agency. What was the driving vision behind that? And what is the core advantage that you offer clients that larger captive agencies can't match?
So captive agencies, the difference between us is that they only have one answer. You could be a great agent, but if you only have one carrier, you only have one answer. That's what drove us to be independent. We were captive with MetLife for about 3 years, and we decided that the better answer to go for our clients was to be independent so that we could have multiple choices for them. So that's really the driving for us, is that it makes it more of an advantage for our clients.
That's awesome. In the insurance world, renewals are everything, as you've previously told me as well. What is your agency's philosophy or strategy for ensuring that client satisfaction and maximizing retention every year that you're doing that?
Our key is to make sure clients understand where they are in the market. Right now, it's the hardest market since the 80s. A lot of people are not aware of that. They just know that their rates keep going up and they don't really know why. So the biggest piece for us is to try and just make sure that we're reaching back out to our clients, letting them know what work we've done, and that, yes, things are not getting better right now, but that's not because of anything they're doing wrong. And we try and educate them in how to use us to help hold the better rate and keep better rates for the future, because it will come back down. It's just a matter of being in a position where you can take advantage of that.
Okay. That makes sense. Independent agencies often rely heavily on referrals. What's the single most effective system or process that you have in place to encourage and track client referrals?
We do use our customer management system, to track our referrals because, like you said, it's the single most important way that we get. But we have referral partner relationships. So we work with financial advisors and family wealth planners. We work with banks and even other insurance agents, because other insurance agents that care about their clients, they want to send them to somewhere that can help them. But maybe they only want me to help them with one piece of their business, to respectfully not take another piece of business unless it's to the client's advantage. And so keeping track of that, where people came from, is super important in our CRM system. And it helps us also know whether we have a good referral source, because if we start having problem clients from one single source, then probably it's the source, not the clients. We maybe need to re-strategize.
Right. That makes sense. As your agency has grown, what's the biggest challenge in scaling your team or adding new agents? And what systems did you put in place to ensure consistency in client service?
So we're family owned. So that was probably the most difficult scale, was going from myself to my husband and I, and now we've added our daughter a little over a year ago. And so we are working with business coach to help us continue to get our processes in order and get where we can scale to the next level. And once we're ready, we'll have those systems in place in addition to we'll have a lead generation program that will feed producers to come in.
Awesome. I love that. Let's talk about a little bit about some operational bottlenecks. So, every growing agency hits a wall at some point where the manual tasks kind of slow everything down. What's the most significant operational bottleneck that you've had to solve to keep your agency growing smoothly? For example, is it like lead follow up, renewal reminders, documentation?
Just right now, because the market is so hard, doing that legwork for each client at renewal is a lot more cumbersome than it used to be. We used to be able to say, okay, XYZ company is coming in hot. And so we can quote everybody with XYZ company. And that's really not the case right now. We don't have like a specific lane that industry is leaning on. So it makes it hard because we have to price everyone. And that just is a whole lot more legwork. So that's probably been our biggest challenge is just the sheer volume currently because of the market shift, and we don't have the bandwidth as a team to meet
Hmm.
all of that. So we've struggled this year for sure.
Okay. So, you have to price these out individually with the different carriers and
Yeah.
see. Okay.
15 minutes or less is only one company. When you're
Wow.
when you're trying to get, like, 10 or 12 or trying to find the right fit or you have a claims scenario or a credit issue or any of those things, or it's just not the client that that particular market's looking for, you can't just quote one company, you gotta quote many, and then you have to figure out, is it really the best thing for the client? More times than not, if there's not a huge starking difference, it's sit tight a little longer, and that's typically not what clients wanna hear. They wanna know that they're moving or doing something different, just to feel like they're doing something better, but doesn't necessarily mean they are.
Right. And it probably helps too that you have so much experience in the space, so you're kind of able to cherry pick which providers are going to be best for which clients.
Yeah, well, and that's the consumer has not quite gotten to level with what's happening with industry stuff. I've watched it evolve and I've seen carriers get very diluted in their coverage to very diluted in their service to being so automated that there's not even a human touch, not even for an insurance agent, let alone a client. And all's well and good until you have a claim and you really need to talk to somebody. So that's the part we also monitor on our side so that when we're placing a policy for someone, if they have a claim, they don't have to worry about not getting through to anybody or having to do an automated or do phone. Like they're going to get some one-on-one counseling and advice, which an 800 number is not gonna do, and it's getting further and further away, the personal touch, to especially personal lines insurance.
Yeah, and I have heard that your agency for sure focuses on the personalized touch. I heard that you've even shown up at a client's house before during a flood of sorts, an
Yeah, that's
internal
been a
flood,
time or 2.
an unintentional internal water feature that caused some damage. So yeah, so I love that you're providing that, for your clients. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, beyond the annual renewal, what systems do you use to stay top of mind with clients and ensure that they purchase additional lines of coverage like life, umbrella, commercial policies as their needs evolve? Like, what kind of systems do you do to touch base with them and foster that relationship?
But we try and make it more organic, not so systematic, but also try and keep dibs. We're still considered a small agency in general, so I call us small but mighty. But probably the biggest thing is just genuinely inquiring with people whenever they make changes. When they do call in with something or bill, ask them, what's going on in your life? Is there things that, there's things you can organically have a conversation with someone that will bring up, I'm going to retire, or we got new kids going to be driving, or we're looking at getting a bigger house, or we're maybe looking to downsize. And so we try and get ahead of those things for them and say, okay, well, make sure you call us XYZ so we can put in a plan and a strategy. So we just try and genuinely get to know our clients. And then we have, little follow ups here and there to make sure that did they get the house? Did they make these changes? Maybe it's a good thing they didn't. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something their family's in crisis and they need more resources that we have available. And we also try and remind people that we do have good resources, whether it's a claim or not. If you're looking for a roofer, or if you're looking for a plumber, or you're looking for someone to help you, a handyman, we want to refer the right people that are going to take care of you. And we wouldn't refer anyone different in a claim. So we try and remind our clients that if you're looking for a person for any kind of help, to reach out to us and use this as a resource, not just a rating system for your insurance.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I know you stay very connected in Louisville, and Southern Indiana so that you have kind of those resources for your clients, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
You just spoke a lot about the personal side. What about on the commercial side? Like, what's your commercial side look like? What are your touch points with your commercial clients? Like, what's that look like?
I think it depends on where they are in their business. What I try and help new startup companies know is that first 2 years is super important to stay in touch quarterly. Are you growing really fast? Are you growing at a slower pace than you expected? Because then we can amend and change things on your insurance to help with cash flow. But then also, are you stagnant in your business? Have you developed to a point where you're level and you're just comfortable? And do we need to review your risk management and mitigation to make sure that you're getting the best rates and pricing you out and asking for credits? Or are you a serial entrepreneur? Are you not only got this business going, you got another business going and they're all very successful? What's your revenue? If you're a multi-million dollar revenue, then you really need a consultant type insurance agent, not somebody that's just going to take orders. Because if you're at that level, you need professionals helping advise you through the process so you don't have your fanny in the wind, is what I gotta explain. So, anyway,
Is that a technical insurance term, fanny in the wind?
fanny in the wind. Yes, fanny in the wind is my technical insurance term. I try and keep it all covered for you.
Yeah, you gotta learn, the vernacular of the different industries, so, okay.
Well, it's easy to do. I mean, somebody, especially for people that are, just driven and going.
Uh-huh.
Business coach says his favorite statement is, "I don't know where I'm going, but I'm making great time."
I think we've all had
Yeah,
days
so
where
that
we
would be
feel
my
that
bumper
way.
sticker too. Yeah.
Okay, so looking ahead at some future trends, what is the biggest trend or challenge that you see coming in the independent industry space that agencies should be preparing for right now?
I think it is client expectation level. We still have a lot of education of being transparent from the industry to the consumer. And us as a professional society have not been real good at that. We've always been considered shysters or, car salesmen. And so it's just like any other industry. You've got, 80% of them maybe doing wrong, but 20% are still doing it right. And we just got to band together and make that shift different for the consumer's sake. There's just too much going on that is causing rates to increase that are systemic.
Mm.
And until we change as a society and start like really being transparent and understanding it, it's not going to change. And then we're all going to be in a deficit. So
Mm.
that's what I see more than anything, is just being transparent about claims and where the payments are being made.
I like that piece of advice. That's really good. Let's see. Speaking of advice, let's do like a final piece of advice. What's the single best piece of advice that you would give a fellow independent agent who is currently overwhelmed and trying to systematize their business for growth?
I would say step back and look at where they're coming from and what's going out the back door. And take a step up and set your standard a little higher, and it will balance out. What tends to happen so often, especially with newer agents, is that they want to make the sale. They want to just get the close. And that's not always the best thing for the client. And it's not always the best thing for you as an agent, because it all goes full circle. So the higher you set your standard, the less that you bend for whoever, the better your retention and the better your profitability will be with carriers. So it all is secular. So I say, if you're struggling to grow, you need to step back and see where you want to grow from.
That's great. It sounds like you work really hard to kind of make sure you have the right fit for clients, both on
Yeah.
their end and on your end, which I think is important. I think you've previously told me that that can affect, your relationship with carriers if you have the wrong
Hmm.
client that's doing the wrong things. So
Yeah.
it's nice that you kind of vet and hold to a higher standard just for the longevity of your agency. That's awesome.
Protection to the client too, because sometimes people are doing things they don't realize that they're doing, and really, you're just putting that wall up to say, "Look, I'm not gonna let you step over it because it's just gonna hurt you." And that's where a sale can make you like, especially young, hungry sales individuals, they're like, "But I wanna close the sale because 'cause I've gotta get this much quota and I gotta, do
Hmm.
this." And there's all this pressure on production, and I will say that in our agency, the culture will never be that production is priority. Quality and clients are priority, not the production number. The rest will find its way. That's the hardest part, and, everybody wants to win.
Hell yeah,
I
they
get
do.
it. I gotta be the Debbie Downer. Don't win today, please.
This is not the win you want. Let's
This is
shift to
not
the
the win
win.
you want.
Well,
Let's go
awesome.
win bigger.
Yeah, right? Yeah, let's level up a little bit here. Yeah,
Let's
I like that. I like that. Well, Heather, your insights have been amazing. I love kind of some of the advice that you gave on building a client-focused and scalable agency. That's invaluable, I think, to other people in the industry. So thank you for sharing your expertise. For our
Absolutely.
listeners, you can find Heather and McCormick Advantage Insurance Agency at McCormickAdvantage.com, and I'll have that in the notes on this podcast. Is there anywhere else people should find you, Instagram or something like that?
I mean, we're on Facebook, and I don't think we're on Instagram. We need to
Okay.
get better.
All right, we'll just send people to the website. Awesome. Oh, one more thing. What states do you cover?
So right now we're in Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, Virginia, and North Carolina and South Carolina,
Oh,
Texas, and Florida.
okay, awesome. So people in the Louisville area and those with second homes and other
Yeah,
states. All right,
yeah.
wonderful.
Our businesses in multi-states.
Yep. Perfect. Cool. Fantastic. Well, Heather, thank you again for being on the Practice Pulse in our new series, The Seven Figure Broker. And to our listeners, we hope this episode gave you actionable steps to improve your agency's efficiency. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.